Hi there folks, Borislav247 here with another Days Gone video, and on this video I am going to be showing you all a very unique area indeed in which to get a gold score on the Surrounded challenge ridiculously easily. Sounds too good to be true? Well, as I'm sure a lot of you will already know, there is already one area in this Surrounded challenge where you can potentially get onto and reasonably easily get a gold score, but the setup for this particular one where you're crossing over the beams is a tad tricky to pull off. This method, however, is a different story altogether. It is as easy as it gets. You can basically go for this area right from the very start of your run. The only strange thing about this particular method, and it all concerns the screen that I'm actually showing right now. Now, that may sound a bit cryptic, but I will explain as the video goes on. All I can simply say now is, without any further ado, I'm going to get onto the action because you've got to see this, folks. This is fantastic. Okay, in order for this to work, the only things that I'm really looking to get in place before I get onto this area is ammunition, because I want the two main weapons that I'm going to be using to be fully stocked on ammo. And the good news is I'm heading to basically the very top of the Bank of Metolius, and when you get up here there is a whole load more ammo, and I'll take that medkit too. But this is how you get onto the area. Make sure you select a weapon, then aim it, and while you're aiming it, use the left joystick in order to move up those boxes to get on that top section, and then very slowly move down to this section, and then make sure to be firing downwards. This will get the horde's attention, and then basically from here, that is the hardest part of this setup done. So from here, the start of this run, I am most certainly not going to bother with much in the way of resources. It's mainly going to be ammo in order to take out the freakers, because I want their numbers to be far greater before I start using my my top resources like the napalm molotovs, the grenades and pipe bombs. And something else worth noting, basically once you're on this section you can move the horde about, and which I most certainly plan on doing later on in this run, because if you don't, the pile up of the bodies will start getting that high that basically if you start throwing down grenades and pipe bombs especially, they will stop doing any damage because they're just going to be hitting dead bodies. All the ones that are underneath that are alive just won't be taking any damage, so that is worth knowing. But when I get ready for using the napalm molotovs, trust me, I'm going to be moving this lot in a big way. But as I mentioned before, I simply don't have the numbers yet, so hence why I'm not bothered about the multiplier, so just in case anyone's wondering. This is also a fantastic thing to bring up that I didn't actually discover this. This was discovered by a gamer who actually just put out his video a couple of days ago on YouTube, and he goes by the name of CocoSnicker12. He's a YouTuber that I follow, has a fantastic amount of Days Gone content, and he is also a very avid Days Gone challenge mode gamer. His name features on one or two of the top 25 leaderboards, so delighted when a fellow challenge mode gamer discovers something like this. And all I can say is, Tony, thank you so much for showing your video, but at the same time you may want to be watching this one because there is something you missed in a big way, and it is so important when it comes to this run, and I will explain at the end of the video. And by the way folks, I'm not using that comment there as like clickbait in order to make sure that people watch until the end of the video. All I'm going to say is, if you just watch the first minute or so of this video to see how I get to this section, and then start doing this and start getting problems and saying, oh, I've got problems with the horde because they're not congregating right below me, I will be starting to reply along the lines of, have you watched the entire video? Because at that point I will basically know that you haven't. There is some really, really important information that is coming later on about this, because this information is so important. Basically, until I was aware of this information, I was not going to make this video, because because I didn't feel it was worthwhile. And again, I will explain more about that later. But as you can see, now I am going full nuts on the horde here. It's just moving them over to this section, which I did a good minute or so ago, and now I am hitting them hard. I basically just need to get the score to over 120,000, and that will get the gold score. Now at this point, I still have quite a lot of ammo. Oh yeah, as you can see there, a hell of a lot of ammo on this bad boy. As well as that, I've got a whole load of other resources, but when I do start the multiplier in earnest, I always like to start with the napalm Molotovs. And again, as I mentioned before, once the bodies start piling up, you ideally want to be moving the horde over. And another good tip, if you're using pipe bombs or grenades, make sure that you crouch down before using them, or you will get a blast coming your way. Now, the beauty is, there is a wall behind you, so you're not going to come off, but you will do yourself some damage, so it's not worth it. And as you can see, I am now well past the mark for the gold score. I'm just simply, for the rest of this video, I'm just going to use up the last of my resources. Basically, just to give you all an idea of the score that you can pile up here. Yeah, depending on what direction they're coming from, I sometimes like to take pot shots at them, but obviously it's just easier taking them out when they're right below you. Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers there for what I was getting on the multiplier on them. I'm seeing already, even though I'm starting to move them a touch, I'm not getting the full 30 kills there for the grenades, so those dead bodies are starting to have an effect. But it doesn't matter, as I'm sure you'll all agree. How easy is this? It really is all about the setup at the very start. You just have to make sure when you're on the roof section to go beside the two boxes, then select a weapon. When you've selected your weapon, make sure that you are in aiming mode, and on the console that is L2, and then while you're holding that down, you have to keep that held, then use the left joystick in order to move your character over the barbed wire section of the wall at the top. Once you do that, you will drop onto the first top section, and then very slowly make your way for the drop onto this area here, and then it's all good. Yeah, I don't have much now in the way of anything. I'll be quite honest, I do actually still have proximity bombs, but I'm not going to bother using them. There we go. Now, is this the end of the video? Not a chance. This is the important information you badly need to know about. So in order to show this, I've saved a little bit of time by getting straight to the part where I need to get over onto the area that I'm going to be untouchable from. So again, making sure you have a weapon, make sure that L2 is pressed so that you're aiming, and while doing that, using the left joystick in order to get onto the top section and then onto this section. As you can see, I'm aiming down as I was before, and the horde are starting to congregate nicely. All good. Now, moving on a bit, you might have a run where all of a sudden it just hasn't gone quite right, or in some cases even, you might have overdone things at the very top and dropped all the way to the bottom and got killed. So, no problem, this screen comes up and you go to retry. Okay, here we go. The next run coming right up. So, again, I'm just going to make sure that I get some ammunition. I don't bother with the second box there because there is an awful lot of ammunition up here. But at this point, I even decide to go with a smoke bomb. This is overkill because when you're doing this right from the very start, you have a lot of time to get the job done. So there we go. I'm full up on ammunition. Okay, over I go. Nice and smoothly does it. Onto this section. Okay, down we go. Some downward fire and let the horde congregate. Wait a fucking minute. What the hell's going on? This isn't right. It's bad enough that flipping Deacon refused Ricky in the Days Gone game, but now the fucking freakers don't even want to know about her. This is not on. No, they've all gone upstairs. They're having a party. They're not interested in Ricky here. So at this point, I am going to move to one section where they will start moving sort of towards me, but more like firing off this section of the roof, which is slightly better than what they have been doing, but it doesn't help you really when it comes to getting a good multiplier going, and you don't want them like this anyways. You want them congregated below you. And the reason why they're simply not doing that, and it will come as a bizarre answer to anyone, and it's basically because I have selected retry for the challenge. As soon as you select retry, that's it. You have no chance whatsoever of getting the horde to congregate below you. If you have a bad first attempt, what you need to do is to quit the challenge, go back to the screen that you've seen at the very beginning of this video, and restart it all again. By doing that, you will get this horde to cooperate. And that brings me to the end of this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Take care.